1.78.
Hello everyone, OSW-Sim-Sports here. I hope you are having a great day. And today this race against the GT3 aka Kieran Blacklock. So here we go for the start. I qualified in P4, I had a great run here behind the Mustang. There's not really a lot of space to go down the inside, but I try anyway. I go quite early on the brakes not to make a massive mess. And I just decide to slot in behind this Mustang here, and as you can see, massive carnage ahead of me, so this was a very good decision. And coming out of the left-hander here, I get the punt from Mr. Sabil behind me. Luckily I'm able to keep it on the track, but as you can see I have a little bit of rear damage, and I am also a little bit annoyed with this, but P1 is still ahead, and as you can see he gets punted by the hypercar, and this will allow me to close up the gap to him very rapidly. And behind me it seems that the GT3 has also come through the first corners cleanly, and so he will be hunting us down in no time. And so it is of vital importance to close the gap to this Mustang ahead as rapidly as possible and preferably pass him right away. But yeah, seeing as this guy put it on pole, this will obviously not be that easy, and it will really take some very hard pushing in order to close this gap. And now we are already 0.5 behind. We are basically in his slipstream, but we don't get a massive advantage, and thus it is still very important to just keep nailing every corner. As into the very fast right-hander we go, important to keep a lot of speed here. If you have fresh tires you can do it in fourth. If your tires are dropping off a bit you have to shift down maybe to third gear. But very important to, in both these right-hander corners, to keep your speed, your average speed, as high as possible throughout the corner. And honestly, for all of the bad rap Bahrain gets as a track, I honestly really love it. It's so technical and flowy, and yeah, it's just really nice to drive on. As we are now in 0.3 behind on the straight, we have a nice run, and as you can see, target is locked, full concentration here. Trying to make him make a mistake and seeing if I can take advantage of this. But by now it was already quite clear that this guy was not really a pleb, and even though he made some mistakes here and there, like running a little bit deep here in this corner, as you can see, he still kept it very tight and, you know, didn't really give me any opportunities in order to pass him. And obviously with Kieran 3 seconds behind me, if I could pass this Mustang at this point, it would put me in a perfect situation to actually win this race. But that would require me to actually get past this guy, and as you can see, it's not that easy. And so after my small mistake of running a little bit deep there, it took me a few laps to catch back up to him. But in that exact same lap he also ran very deep into T1, as you can see. This allowed me to get a very nice run out of T2 coming into T3, and honestly now it's just looking for space. He is very wise and forces me around the outside here. I have my nose ahead, so if I brake later I should be able to edge ahead, but he is very brave on the brakes, and yeah, he managed to make the corner very cleanly, and all props to him for a very nice defensive move. But as you can see, it is also becoming more and more clear that this guy is struggling a lot. Maybe he's overdriving the car a little bit because he's a little bit nervous, but in this situation it is just absolutely vital to pass him if I have any ambitions of winning this race. Because behind me, as you can see, Kieran is now also starting to close the gap, and as he is in clean air he is just able to drive his own pace and very rapidly close the gap if we don't stop fighting. As I get a fantastic run coming out of the hairpin firmly in his draft here, he decides to stay on the outside, which I thought was surprising. This allows me to get a nice run here down the inside. I obviously brake deep. We run him a little bit wide, but as you can see there's still more than enough space for him. We go side by side into the fast right-hander, and he is again quite brave and just sends it in. Now this does give me the opportunity to overlap, but as you can see I think better of it and just yield position in order to get a nice run here heading into the last section of the track. And I also know at this point he will just make a mistake, so yeah, I am just weaving a little bit, making sure he knows I'm there and that if he makes a mistake I will take advantage of it. Hello, it's me, OSW-Sim-Sports. I create quite a bit of sim racing content, mostly with a bit of edutainment value. And if you want to see more videos like this, please do remember to subscribe and hit that like button. And if you're really feeling good, maybe leave a nice comment. Thank you very much. But as you can see, all the props to him, he still manages to keep it very clean, keep it defensive, and yeah, there's not really any moment for me to really get a run on him to truly get past. So far from him, very impressive defensive driving, zero contact between us so far, and this is exactly what we like to see in racing. Because these multi-lap battles where like psychology and stress levels actually come into play are some of the most enjoyable online battles that you can have. And here in the technical section, look how quickly I closed up the gap and how much faster I could go if I was in clean air, but this big ass Mustang is still in front of me, and yeah, as you can see there's just no way to get past. I could have sent it down the inside there, but there would 100% have contact. And yeah, as the fight was so nice with this guy, I also just want to keep it clean. And as you can see, in some situations that also means lifting a little bit early, as it is impossible for me to always judge his braking position. And just to avoid contact, I just lift a little bit. But obviously, as I am still in his toe, it's very easy for me to keep up. And even if I make a small mistake here and there, as long as I'm in 0.4, 0.5 of a second, I should be able to get a suck and get back to him on the straights. And here you can clearly see how much he is struggling to keep the car on the road. He still has very good and high average corner speed, but yeah, he is starting to miss the apexes here and there. And here we go, the final mistake that really caught him out, and you can see how happy I am that I finally forced him into a mistake. He went onto the throttle a little bit too early in order to maximize the run coming into the straight. And yeah, he just dropped it. But as you can see now, a lap later, Kieran is now putting in some very quick laps, like legitimate qualifying time laps, and he is rapidly starting to close the gap to me, even while I am in clear air. And as you can see, he's only a second behind at this point. A lap later, the gap is 1.4 seconds again, because most likely he was a little bit unlucky in traffic. But a lap later again, you can see 0.4 is lost again, and the gap is only 1 second. So it will only be a matter of time before he is on my tail and I will start to have a nice battle with the key. As he almost runs into me here, look at the radar, almost touches me, but he barely manages to slow it down, fair play. And yeah, from now on I am basically driving defensive and just making sure that I consistently park it on the apex and get as good as a run out of the corners as possible. And again, a lap later, he was still on my tail. This was already turning into a multi-lap battle as the Ferrari there is doing some incredible things. And yeah, here you can see on the radar just how close he is. He was firmly in the draft, and yeah, these are often the moments in racing where you have to calm yourself down a little bit. But yeah, as I have quite a bit of experience with these situations, I am generally able to do so, as I was able to keep him behind me for another lap. And as you can see, he's still 0.4, 0.3 behind me, and yeah, just making sure I don't make any mistakes, because the second I make a single mistake, he will instantly pass me. And again, a lap later, the gap is now 0.5. I was starting to feel my mojo again a little bit and starting to find some very nice space. And also, considering this was actually a 35-minute race, the consistency we did over the stint was actually quite remarkable, I would say. Especially if you also consider that we were getting passed by hypercars left and right. And here into T1, one of the few truly defensive braking moves that I had to undertake. And here with the flashing of the lights, you can see the key wasn't really all that happy about it, but yeah, the move was completely legitimate. I checked it in the replay. I didn't move under braking, I moved before the braking, and so yeah, nothing really to complain about. And then this moment where I am getting passed by 3 hypercars at the same time, and somehow this Ferrari brakes very early, way earlier than I expect as a GT3, and I have some contact with him. It gives me a little bit more damage, but it seems like the key has been more compromised than me by the hypercars, and I now have a 1.3 second gap. And as you can see, I really had to get my elbows out with this Lambo overtaking me in order to not just lose a ton of time. And honestly, from this position on, I was still starting to feel a little bit more confident. With the gap around 1 second to the key, you can start to breathe a little bit more, and the adrenaline starts to leave your body a little bit. You can also see it in my posture while I'm driving. I'm a little bit more relaxed now. And if I don't do anything silly from this position on out, I should be able to bring it home. And obviously, as you can see, I instantly do something really silly, as I just basically forget to brake. My 1 second gap is now firmly gone and the key is in the lead. And as he was hunting me down basically all race and basically setting consistently quicker lap times than me all race, I knew from this position onwards it was going to be very tough to pass him again. And as you can see here at the end of the race, I wouldn't be able to do so. He would be able to get me by about 2.5 seconds, which, you know, really incredible pace. Really a great race from the key, very clean. And also I was very happy with myself, as I hadn't driven for around 3 to 4 days, at least since the Kota 6-hour race. And so finishing second while you were projected to finish 7th, when you are feeling a little bit rusty, in my opinion is a very nice result. As I chit a little bit with Kieran about how stupid my move was to just forget to brake and how that essentially cost me the race. But yeah, of course, still very nice race by him, and GG, good race.